Sean Combs was once on a glide path to becoming a billionaire. Combs would face enormous financial penalties and a long prison sentence.
Apparently has been breaking jailhouse rules.
This is the latest in a series of lawsuits filed against the rap mogul and businessman.
Why should they let him out? Because he's uncomfortable? Nobody cares.
Diddy still has power and influence even from within inside.
Sean Diddy Combs, once one of the most influential figures in the music industry, is now at the center of a legal storm that has captivated the public and shaken Hollywood. Facing many serious charges, the hip-hop mogul's downfall appears imminent. While his empire was built on charisma and power, recent developments have painted a darker picture, one filled with coercion, manipulation, and alleged criminal activities.
Well, okay, all that money he obtained, however he obtained it, first thing they're going to do is they're going to seize that. They're going to create a victims fund for all these victims. Then what they'll do, any money left over, hell, maybe they'll do it now. They're going to call this ill-gotten gains. And they're going to do a forfeiture on that. That and combined with the guns. I guess those are maybe ghost guns. Well, they're not ghost guns because nobody made them with a 3D printer. No. But they'll get him for arms trafficking, attempting to alter a serial number.
Diddy's request for bail has been denied multiple times, with federal judges citing him as a flight risk and emphasizing the gravity of his alleged crimes. Offering $50 million in collateral was not enough to sway the court. Prosecutors have compared his case to those of Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly, whose bail requests were similarly rejected due to the severity of their charges and potential risks to public safety.
It's not going to happen. Why should they give him bail? See, he thinks he's special. He's just another inmate. That's all he is. Doesn't matter if he has or had billions of dollars. He's a record producer. You know, they're holding him in there because they're concerned. I don't want to say afraid. The feds are concerned that he may threaten people who are victims, do undue influence. I read that he put a new bail package together. So what? There's nowhere in the world that he could hide. So it's not a matter of him being a flight risk. It's a matter of him being a threat to the community. And, these lawyers, they know he's not going to get it. What is a lawyer's job? A lawyer's job is essentially to create billable hours. So that's what they're doing here. Puffy is desperate for obvious reasons. He wants to get out of custody.
A 14-page indictment outlines shocking accusations, including physical abuse, intimidation, and coercion. Evidence presented by prosecutors includes defaced firearms, over 1,000 bottles of lubricant, and explicit videos connected to the alleged crimes. Witness tampering has also been a significant concern, with claims that Diddy tried to silence individuals who could testify against him.
And don't let them brush these under the rug. Like, prosecutions have to be made, and you got to hold their feet to the fire. But it's very hard. In the past, it's been almost impossible to organize because you can't use social media. But with Telegram and Twitter, you can kind of get around that. So we're seeing this case. They couldn't knock it off the news cycle the way they did Jeffrey. The Jeffrey case had the most public interest and the least news coverage. Like the gap between those two things was astounding, and they just wanted to push it all into something else. The Diddy thing is not going away, and they're not all blaming Diddy. I've heard some of these other executives brought up and people bringing it in. So it's there. There's a lot of disinfo that happens anytime celebrities are involved in anything, but people know. They're like, okay, yeah, some of this will be smoke and it won't be true, but at the end of the day, they're going to dig down into it, say, who were your cohorts? What were you doing? How many people did you drug? How many people did you bring in? Were children involved? There are victims as young as 9.
Since his incarceration, Diddy has allegedly continued to engage in obstructive behavior. Prosecutors claim he has used unauthorized communication methods, such as third-party apps and other inmates' phone accounts, to contact witnesses and associates. One leaked phone call features Diddy instructing someone to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes, a statement that has sparked speculation about its hidden meaning.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. Need you to reach out to the producer, let these motherfuckers know there's a release date for that new Netflix movie.
Alright, Pop. It's just crazy right now.
Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker.
These leaked phone calls are causing a stir on social media. While some folks think they might be edited, others can't help but believe there's something real here, especially since Diddy seemed to be dropping hints that only he and his son would get. It's like he's leaving clues just for them, which, let's be real, makes everything sound way more suspicious.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes.
The what?
All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes.
Okay.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
And here's the twist. Jay-Z's getting pulled into this whole mess too.
Did Jay reach out yet?
Nah, Pop. He ghosting.
The call also references recycling plastic and not forgetting about the list, further fueling conspiracy theories. Some believe these are coded messages related to the disposal of incriminating evidence or the manipulation of witnesses. Diddy's nonchalant tone during the call, where he dismisses lawsuits and speaks about having the last laugh, has only deepened public curiosity.
Now, this alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Now, in this alleged phone call, he starts talking about someone named Jay. People are speculating that maybe Jay-Z, but there's no confirmation. At the same time, he talks about recycling plastic. I don't know what that could mean. If you guys have any idea, comment and let me know.
Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
I mean, it seems by the call that he's looking for help. He's saying that a lot of people are quiet, I guess people that are on his side, and that he's gonna have the last laugh at the end.
Man, just do what I told you to do, and don't forget about the list.
So they said federal prosecutors late Friday said that Sean Diddy Combs has tried to evade law enforcement monitoring to corruptly influence witness testimony while jailed on trafficking and other charges, including using phone accounts belonging to at least 8 other inmates. What in the Oz is going on? In their opposition to Combs' renewed bail motion, prosecutors say that they've reviewed dozens of jail calls from the hip-hop mogul, including some in which he instructs people he's calling to, quote, add other individuals via three-way call. This is not going to be good for him, but I'm not surprised by this at all, which is not authorized by the Bureau of Prisons. So you can't do three-way calling in prison. Combs also, quote, directs others to pay inmates to use their personal access codes for jail phone calls. So he's probably putting money on people's books, including through payment process apps and the BOP commissary account deposits, according to the 30-page filing from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York in Manhattan.
Prosecutors allege that Diddy has coerced witnesses into releasing statements in his defense using financial support and intimidation tactics.
In our law and justice lead, another shocking turn in the case of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors, as you know, say that the music mogul committed some unspeakable acts, and now they're saying that he's engaging in witness tampering from behind bars. How do they know that? Well, through evidence that Diddy's attorneys say the feds should never have been able to obtain. They are accusing federal prosecutors of what they call outrageous misconduct. Personal notes that allegedly contain attorney-client defense strategies, were seized from Diddy's New York jail cell. Combs' legal team calls that search a violation of his constitutional rights, and they're demanding an evidentiary hearing. Not so fast, though. Prosecutors defend the seizure. They say the notes were obtained during a nationwide, pre-planned sweep of multiple prison facilities. They claim the notes were reviewed by a filter team, someone not involved in the case, to remove privileged materials before they were turned over to prosecutors. Now, prosecutors are arguing the notes that they got contain evidence that Diddy may have tried to influence witnesses, alleging that he paid a witness after making a public statement. Diddy's team strongly denies these allegations. This development comes as Diddy.
One of these witnesses, identified as a former associate, reportedly received over 100 communications from Diddy while he was in custody.
The public version of Combs' renewed motion for bail, filed on November 8th, is partly redacted because it cites case discovery, including about alleged victims, that is covered by a protective order. So that must be the new information that his team says that they had and they wanted to include in his reasons for bail. According to the lawyer at the time, they said, the evidence makes clear that the government's case is thin. As you know, he has offered a $50 million bond secured by his home and his mother's home and co-signed by him, his mother, his sister, oldest daughter's mother, and youngest daughter's mother, and 3 sons. Prosecutors' opposition on Friday also is partly redacted. It says that Combs uses a third-party messaging service called Contact Me ASAP to, quote, obscure his communications from jail. They said the defendant repeated circumvention of BOP regulations starting almost immediately after arriving at MDC. So they said as soon as he was locked up, he's been going against jailhouse rules. And they said it speaks volumes about his ability to comply with any condition of release.
The involvement of Diddy's children has drawn criticism, with many questioning his decision to involve them in his public relations strategy. A recent video of his children wishing him a happy birthday was reportedly orchestrated to gain public sympathy. Prosecutors allege that Diddy even used a jail computer to analyze the video's online performance, further demonstrating his efforts to manipulate public perception.
Prosecutors say that the violations are part of Combs' effort to orchestrate a public relations campaign. Who's been saying this? If you've been following my Diddler reports, I've been telling you, Diddy is trying to try his case in the court of public opinion instead of in the court of law, because that's what he's used to doing. They said prosecutors say the violations are a part of Combs' efforts to orchestrate a public relations campaign aimed at influencing people who may eventually serve on the jury in his criminal trial, including by enlisting his children to post videos on social media celebrating his birthday. Who told you this? If you've been following my reports, I said this is all Diddy, because a lot of us are like, why are the kids posting this right now? These birthdays things to him. They said, including by enlisting his children to post videos on social media celebrating his birthday, and they say his own words prove his intent. The defendant from within the Metropolitan Detention Center then monitored the analytics, i.e. audience engagement, and explicitly discussed with his family how to ensure that the video had his desired effect on potential jury members in this case.
The scandal surrounding Diddy has cast a shadow over some of Hollywood's most powerful players. Longtime associate Jay-Z has faced scrutiny for his ties to Diddy, with some speculating that Jay-Z's silence during this ordeal indicates an attempt to distance himself.
That Jay-Z and Beyonce have remained conspicuously silent following the news of Diddy's indictment. There's already talk about what they knew, and if it got out, it could prove embarrassing. Combs and the Carters go back decades, specifically Jay-Z, who has an extensive business and artistic ties to the accused R-word. However, the two industry titans often had disagreements in the early 2000s over their ventures, and the first source notes the Empire State of Mind rapper has grown distant from his former associate over the past few years. Sure, how convenient. Oh, they aren't really close anymore, guys. They knew nothing. Even though these accusations go back decades, no, he knew nothing. What P. Diddy has allegedly done is just plain evil, and they have nothing to do with it. But that's not stopping the assumptions people are making, the source states. At first, they were taking the stance that it was better to ignore it, but they're now fighting back because they just can't stand by and let their reputations get dragged into the mud over lies and conspiracy theories. You mean the heat's finally getting to them? The heat's finally getting to them, guys! Jay-Z has ordered his lawyers to go after anyone trying to lump him in with P. Diddy with false accusations.
Over the years, rumors have swirled about their shared involvement in questionable dealings, with whispers of collaborations that go beyond music and business ventures.
Sources say the sprawling investigation threatens to expose Diddy's close associates, Hard Knock Life rapper Jay-Z, who's made a fortune with his Rock Nation entertainment empire, frequently collaborated with Combs. It's true, but not only that, we know about Suge Knight, who's serving years, saying that Diddy, he claims Diddy played a role in Tupac's murder, as well as Biggie's. The insider says Jay and Beyonce have been able to keep their marriage together despite his admitted infidelities and shady friendships. They've kept an uneasy peace for the sake of their 3 kids and their careers, but this is becoming a bridge too far. Cowboy Carter, cutie, I don't know if it's a mean way to say it, and her man are keeping their lips sealed in public as whispers swirl, but sources say Beyonce's fears tawdry tales linked to her love may affect her bottom line. I think Jay is huddled up with his attorneys in case something comes his way, shared New York police detective Derek Parker, otherwise known as Hip Hop Cop. Another source says Jay-Z has ordered his lawyers to go after anyone trying to lump him in with Diddy. That's why he threatened to sue Piers Morgan. Good luck. I wish Piers would have stood his ground.
Adding to the controversy are leaked recordings of Diddy's phone calls from prison. In one call, he references an upcoming Netflix release, instructing someone to coordinate promotional efforts. The call also hints at his frustration with allies who have remained silent.
It seems like those were recorded before he was rejected bail, because they were saying you're gonna get bail, and he said all this confidence and he wasn't worried about anything.
Yeah,
but it's just coming out now, unless it's all AI.
Unless it's all AI. My gut says that it was after the magistrate had dumped him, but before Carter had. It seems to me like it was probably on the eve of that. And his kid was certainly confident. It didn't sound like Diddy was quite as confident as his kid was. And
his kid was so confident he was going to drop a track because he got attention.
Victims claim Diddy used his influence to maintain silence about his abusive actions. Former associates have corroborated these claims, describing a culture of fear and control within his inner circle.
Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
Diddy's current environment starkly contrasts the luxurious lifestyle he once enjoyed. Reports of overcrowding, unsanitary environments, and maggot-infested food paint a grim picture of life behind bars.
Can you describe the conditions of the detention right now, please?
So the food is inedible, from what I've been told. It's way too hot in the summer. Sometimes there's no heat at all in the winter. The toilet water has been known to freeze. It's violent. Someone like Mr. Combs, might be a target for certain things.
The Metropolitan Detention Center that is currently housing indicted rapper Sean Diddy Combs is now under federal investigation.
Diddy reportedly spends most of his time in solitary confinement. These conditions, while standard for high-profile inmates, have taken a toll on the mogul.
So let's say they don't give him a life sentence, but gee, we're going to give you 20 years for this. We're going to give you 10 years for that. Well, let's give them another 20 years for this. And they stack the charges on top of each other. It's called a consecutive sentence opposed to a concurrent sentence. So theoretically, he could be in there for the rest of his life, but it's not a life sentence. So his lawyer really should start being honest with him instead of looking to get more Ben Franklin's passed over to him. Because that's what lawyers, not just this lawyer, all lawyers, remember, their job is billable hours to collect money. And this guy's got deep pockets. What happens here when the money runs out? I mean, it's a good question.
Rumors of Diddy cooperating with federal authorities to reduce his sentence have further heightened tensions. If he chooses to expose other powerful figures, the fallout could be catastrophic for Hollywood's elite.
They said this case is highly unusual in that dozens of financially motivated individuals have made false claims of SA, many of whom Mr. Combs has never even met or perhaps only met in passing at a party. Along with hundreds of others, Mr. Combs has no way of knowing whose claims the government is crediting. according to their filing. Diddy's current judge, Subramanian, already has rejected Combs' lawyer's request for a gag order against all the lawyers in his case, as well as alleged victims and counsel in civil cases, because the unprecedented relief of Combs seeks on this motion is, quote, unwarranted. Combs authorities don't support a gag order applicable not only to trial participants, but also to any alleged victim and their lawyer, the judge wrote in the November 8th order. So this should come as no surprise. As I said to you before, I do not believe that Sean Diddy Combs will get bail. I think he will be rejected for a third time, especially because prosecutors are saying within the jail, Diddy is breaking the rules and trying to influence his civil suits and his criminal case. But do I think that that will end? No. He's just going to work even harder, and don't be surprised if you will see now powerful people go down, because Diddy will be speaking and releasing that information from within the jail.
The ongoing investigations are likely to implicate more individuals, revealing the extent of the corruption and misconduct that has long plagued the industry. For now, Sean Diddy Combs remains behind bars, his empire crumbling under the weight of allegations that have forever changed his public image.
To evade monitoring and to make calls that they allege are also witness tampering, how does his defense team respond to that as they're trying to get Diddy released on bond?
Listen, that's a question of fact, and either the government has the goods on that and he was attempting to do it or not. That's an allegation. That's something else that could be addressed at a hearing or not addressed. But I think the main and core question is, if you have materials that's prepared with your defense lawyers, how do prosecutors get that? Should prosecutors have gotten that? Should the defense team have been given notice to object to that prior to it being given to prosecutors? And so again, no matter what you believe in his guilt, we have to have a process where people believe, where the people believe in their government and their government's not going to overreach. And I think there's a critical question here that'll be determined not by me, but at a hearing as to whether or not those protocols were followed, whether the search team or filter team followed the appropriate steps and parsed out the information that they should have.
As this saga continues to unfold, it serves as a reminder of the need for accountability and transparency, even among society's most celebrated figures. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the stories that shape entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.